y'all, welcome to my channel. On this channel I compare books I've read to their movie or TV show adaptation, just anything on screen. Sorry about like the lighting. This is my new office and it's just kind of got weird lighting. I gotta fix that for my next video. Get a lamp in front of me, the only one's behind me. So and I'm also not done. Ignore these shelves. Anyways, so on this episode I am doing Paper Towns by John Green. I know it has another cover. This is just the only one the library had in stock. So let's get started. Oh, and here's the DVD book. Okay. First of all, before we even start talking about like the movie compared to the book, I just want to say that like I did not enjoy the book. I thought it was kind of boring. I liked the beginning part where they were going on adventures, and then I liked the road trip part, and then the rest of it was just kind of like boring. So it took me a while to get through it. That's why this video is being posted so late. Like I literally did not even want to read it, and then I just watched the movie. So sorry it's a little late, but I'm here. Okay, so it started out good, the movie. It was pretty true to the book. It shows them finding the dead body and like their different reactions to it. So that was good. But in the movie, she tried getting Q to break into SeaWorld back when they were 10, because I guess the dead guy's ex-wife works there. I didn't really follow that. That wasn't in the book. I think that was just the way of trying to include that she wanted to break into SeaWorld. But if you read the book, you know that happened much later on. Well, not much later, but not much later in the book, much later in their lives. That happened when they were older. I forgot to mention this, but my videos always have spoilers. They're meant for people who have either read the book or seen the movie. I'm not leaving stuff out. I'm getting to the nitty-gritty. You know, I'm going to talk about things that happen. So if you have not seen it or read it, please, and you don't want it spoiled, just stop watching now. But if you don't mind it getting spoiled, then let's continue. So I was kind of confused with like the angles and the views shot from the movie, because it was hard to tell if they were next door neighbors or if they were across the street neighbors. Like it would show the rooms right next to each other, but then he walked out of his house and it looked like he looked across the street and saw her coming out of hers. So I feel like that could have been executed a little better. And then, so the story in the book was that when she ran away to Mississippi, she left the letters MISP in her soup. It was chicken noodle like alphabet soup. But in the movie, she literally left MISSISSIPPI. So how did she get all those letters? I feel like that was really lucky to get all those letters. And then that's a really big clue too. Like clearly they could put together that she was in Mississippi, but with just MISP, like no one would think of it, you know? Okay. And then Radar, I didn't know he's the guy who was in All the Bright Places, which I just watched, and I didn't like that movie. Watch my review on that if you haven't seen it yet, but I did like him in this movie. Sorry, actor who plays Radar and Finch. I didn't like you in that one, but I like you in this one. And then I was happy that they included the Black Santas. It's like the little details that when I'm reading books and I know it's being made into a movie, I'm like, they're not going to include that. And I'm always very pleased when they do. So that's how I felt about the Black Santas. Margot was not wearing face paint when she entered his room. And then how it went in the book is she entered and then she got bused by her parents and had to go back. And then she came back again and got Q. But that never happened. She just came and got him and that was it. And then there were only 9 problems versus 11. I was very interested to see what would get cut. And then Margot called Becca's dad instead of in the book she had Q do it. And then in the movie they like saran wrapped Lacey's car. I don't, listen, I saran wrapped someone's car for April Fool's Day and it's not even that bad. Like you just rip it and it comes right off. So that was a lame prank. And in the book she gave her a dead fish too. Maybe they just, I don't know, want to be nice on Lacey. And in the book, she had Q pick like a victim, and she kind of persuaded him to pick Chuck Parsons, the bully. In the movie, she just picked him, and she said, he was Jason's friend, and therefore he was an accomplice in him cheating on me. And And then when they were at his house, she's like trying to get him on board with it more. She was like, remember, he's a bully. He told all the girls not to dance with you. And then he's like, yeah, forget this guy. But he didn't pick him himself. So maybe that was just the movie's way of trying to make Q like seem nicer. I don't know. And then there was no going to the wrong house for him either, which I understand gets cut. Like, whatever. It was funny in the book, but I could see if you're short on time. Margot only put Vaseline on the one doorknob in the house, which again makes sense if you're trying to cut it for time. So he didn't wake up his parents going, Mom, Dad, it's a robber. He just tried going after them and he couldn't get out because of the Vaseline. So what ifs? So far into this, after the Chuck part, I was believing that the only things that got cut were leaving flowers for Karen, who told her about him cheating. And then there was no fish in Jace's house. And they never went back to get Jace's clothes either. And then they went to the SunTrust building, and they actually like slow dance in the building. So I was assuming at that point there was no SeaWorld break-in, and there was not. I guess that could be kind of hard to film. I don't know. That would have been nice. I guess they were just empty tanks though, but still. But then she talks about how the fun isn't breaking into the isn't like being in the place, it's planning the break-in. But whatever. And then I was like, did they even do 9 places in the movie? It didn't seem like it. They went shopping, they went to Becca's house, they went to Lacey's car, they went to Chuck's house, and then the SunTrust building. They did 5 things. Like, was I missing something? I don't know. And then I just learned that the main dude, Q, is Nat Wolff from the Naked Brothers band. He looked kind of familiar, so I looked him up. I'm like, what? Naked Brothers band? Anyway. And then the boys didn't fake sick to get out of school. They just straight up ditched, which, I mean, I feel like they've been trying to build these guys up as good guys, and that's why then I have Q pick Chuck, but then I feel like they should have faked sick instead of just being like, peace, we're leaving school. I don't know. They didn't say, I'm sick, and he like acted like he threw up. He did throw up, and the other guy said he had a migraine. Like, they all faked sick, whatever. They enter the mini ball through the mini ball through the push door right off the bat. There's no breaking the particle board. They just found the door and found out how it opened right away. They found her spray paint message on their first visit to the mini mall, and it wasn't painted over. It was just on the wall. In the book, she had painted over it, trying to cover it up. So they found that right away. And right away when he looks up paper towns, it comes up with the right thing. Nothing about the pseudo visions. Again, just trying to get through. I mean, I guess kind of a lot happens in the book, and so, you know, they were just trying to buy some time, which I get, but also the end was just kind of whatever. I'll get there. I could have done without that dream sequence. If you've watched my videos, you know I just hate dream sequences. I don't get why it ever shows them. Like, I just think it's stupid. Like, clearly we know he's looking for Margot, and like he wants to find her, so why do we have to see a dream of her like talking to him? Like, it was awkward. And then I was mad at the party scene because Radar was supposed to be drunk too, and Angela was supposed to be there, and none of that happened. And then he like found an atlas of Margot's at the party, and now somehow says he knows where Margot is. And then they go to the mini mall, and Ben is still drunk, and they go straight there after the party. Like, it's very fast moving compared to the book. But them singing Pokemon was funny. He's like, sing the first song because of your head. They were singing Pokemon. It was funny. And then he found the map super easily. Her message on the Aglo, on the Aglo page is different. And she didn't provide a sense of urgency. In the book, she's like, I'm leaving at noon. Then, like, the population will be 1 until noon, May 16th, which was the next day. So they had to leave right now. But in the movie, the sense of urgency comes that they want to get there and back before prom, which in the book, the prom already happened, and it's they ditched graduation. So the timing's a little bit different. I guess they just wanted to throw a dance in there. You know, movies love high school dances. And then I just noticed that's Roz from Sabrina. What's up? And then, of course, now Angela is joined in on the road trip, which I didn't get at first, but I mean, I liked the extra scenes with her, so I'm not hating on it. So yeah, I said the prom deadline already. And then Ben in the movie is peeing in a beer can. I feel like not only is that way harder than peeing in a beer bottle, but like more dangerous? Like, what if you cut yourself? I don't know. Guys, if you're watching this, let me know. Is it possible to pee in a car in a beer can? I just feel like, what? And then there was a random cameo of Ansel Engeldorf, whatever his name is. I don't know who he is. I don't know why he was in this movie. Could have not had that. I like how the movie adaptation paid attention to detail. I said that a little bit already, but then they all even got like the road trip shirts right. Not in the right order necessarily, but the thought is there. You know, they did a pink grandma shirt, and then the Confederate shirt, which, I mean, those are little details, but they were funny. So at this point, Q doesn't have his own car yet in the movie, and so he totally hijacked his mom's car. Like, hopefully she doesn't have to get around. In the book, he had his own car, and he took it, but he just hijacked his mom's. And then after the whole cow thing, in the book, their car was fine. They just kept going. In the movie, they had to like wait on the side of the road for hours to get help. And I'm like, how y'all got time for this if you were in such a time crunch for prom? But whatevs, they were chilling. And then I said, I like having more Angela, which I mentioned. And then, oh snap, are they going to do it right now? So that's cool too. Like, in the book, like, Radar didn't get that. And I know it's not that important, whatever, but it's nice to see other characters, not just the main characters, getting things that they want to. Everyone's got a happy ending. Okay, so one thing I didn't like about the movie is that, like, the whole goal for Q's trip is to tell Margot, like, he loves her, apparently, which I roll. Like, I mean, he does love her in the book, but that's not his goal in the book. So I just feel like it just really simplified it all. And then she wasn't there at the freaking barn where she is at the book. Like, where was she? And then his friends just leave. They're like, we're going to go to prom, bye. I was like, what is happening? Like, yeah, they leave in the book, but that's because they're mad at Margot, and they just go to a motel, and they still drive back together. But they literally leave this man, take his mom's car, and leave him in a strange town in New York. What kind of friends? So he finds Margot in town, and she looks exactly the same. She didn't have any physical appearance differences like she did in the book, and she wasn't being as rude as I thought she was in the book. And I just realized there was no scene of Q protecting the freshmen by blackmailing Jace. There was like they were squirting freshmen with like pee and water guns. So that was funny in the book, and then it didn't happen in the movie. Anyways, that was a long time ago. And then her reasoning in the movie, so annoying, was that she left the clues so that people would know she was okay. How does that even make sense? Like, yeah, you left okay, but that doesn't mean you're still okay. Oh, I put in a paper saying go to this abandoned mini mall. That means I'm okay. Shoot, they were just supposed to get it? Who would get that? Who would be like, oh, she's okay. She led us to a deserted mini mall. She's good. Let's stop looking at. No, she's dumb. I'm so over it. I hate Margot. Sorry, y'all, if you like her. I hated book Margot. I hate movie Margot. She's dumb. I don't care. And then Margot said she talks to her sister every day, which, Ruth, you could have let them know that as they're paying you money to look in her room and stuff. Like, that didn't happen in the book. She called her sister in the book and said, I'll call you once a week, blah, blah, blah. But she said she talks to her every day, so trying to make her be a better person, I don't know. And then, is he really taking us all the way back? And then, listen, he still made it back in time for prom. These friends left him. Oh, I guess they wanted to get ready for prom. But they left him. He spent at least an hour there waiting for Margot. Buses take way longer than just driving, and he still made it back in time for prom. Riddle me this. And then one of his last lines is he's walking to the prom. He's like, everyone gets one miracle in life, which is how it opens. And he's like, my miracle was this. And it shows his friends dancing at prom. And I'm guessing that's what he means. But in my head, I'm like, his miracle was making it to prom in time. Let me tell you that. And then at the very end, at graduation, they like carved in their names and then wrote like, we shook up the world onto something at school. I'm like, how'd they shake up the world? They barely did anything except go to New York for a weekend. They did not shake up nothing, and they ditched their friend there. So, and then one other thing I want to mention that I didn't write down, but Ben and Lacey's relationship started way earlier in the book, whereas it kind of formed on the road trip in the movie. And she's like, will you go to prom with me? He's like, what? So that's kind of how it happened in the movie. I like that it happened. I don't know, I liked it both ways. I like Ben and Lacey. But anyway, I like the movie better than the book. The book was boring. I didn't like it. I didn't like any of them, but I liked the movie better, I guess. Just, it moved along faster. Like, in the book, we had to read about him reading the same poem like 6 times. I was like, ugh. And like all his thoughts, it was like weeks of him like thinking and missing. It was like, blah, 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 find another clue already. So I liked the movie was like quicker paced, but I still don't like Margot. I didn't like Q's obsession. I really didn't like any of the main characters. I liked Radar, and I mean I did until they left their friend in the frickin' middle of nowhere and in an abandoned barn. But for the most part, I liked Radar, Angela, Ben, and Lacey until then. That kind of made me mad. So yeah, overall, just like, let me know what you thought. Maybe you liked it better. Maybe you like Margot. Tell me why I'm wrong. I don't care. Let me have it. I'll debate. I'll debate you right now. I don't like Margot. Okay, real quick. Next week, I am going to take a break, so I'll be back in 2 weeks. I've just got a lot going on, y'all. I actually just wrote a book, and I'm publishing it, and I've got, like, so much to clean in my house and do, and I've got other books I want to read that aren't made into movies, like... Y'all, I'm losing my mind. I don't have time for all this. So I'll be back in 2 weeks. But I'll miss you. Okay, bye.